Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. And today I'm coming at you guys with my 10 fragrances that I would keep for life if I could keep only 10 fragrances. I did this back in, I believe, 2018. So this is going to be a little bit of an updated 2019 version. And there are some differences the way that I approached it in this video. I'll go over those with you guys in a second. But I need to let you guys know that this video is brought to you by Cremo. Yeah, Cremo. You guys know that I'm all about Cremo. I've talked about Cremo on this channel multiple times in the past. I actually use their body washes a lot. I've got 8 different Cremo body washes in my shower as we speak, which sounds like way too many, but what are you gonna do? This one, Silver Water and Birch, my wife actually likes so much that she stole it and now she uses it. As you can see, she's knocked out about half of the body wash here. Silver Water and Birch also comes in a cologne and a solid cologne. So you've got spray and solid, whichever one you want. It also comes in a bunch of other products like a body bar, a shampoo and conditioner, 2-in-1, and an antiperspirant or deodorant. So if you like Silver Water and Birch, you can get loaded down with basically every single thing that you could need in that scent. Like I said, Cremo is a brand that I do thoroughly enjoy. I think your products are fantastic for the price, and a shout out to Cremo for sponsoring this video. I'll leave a link in the description to Cremo's YouTube channel. Make sure to check that out. They do giveaways on there as well as very informative videos, and I'll leave a link to their Instagram as well. So if you're on Instagram, check them out there too. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and check out these 10 fragrances that I would keep if I could only keep 10 fragrances. I'm approaching this one a bit differently than the one I did before. The one that I did before, the original Keep 10 for Life, I had a lot of discontinued fragrances and stuff like that on there that are really difficult to find. So this time I wanted to make it 10 fragrances that I would keep that are fragrances that you can still realistically find either at discounters or retailers or whatever. And also, depending on which day you catch me, this list will be different. I'm just gonna be straight up with you guys here. If you catch me a week from now, a couple of these could be replaced with other fragrances. It really depends on what mood I'm in when I'm doing the video. And a video like this is really difficult to say, yes, these are the 10 fragrances. There is no chance that one of these could be replaced. That's not gonna happen, at least for me personally. So these are the ones as of this video that I would keep if you came in the door right now and said, oh, you can only take 10. This is what I would go for. But like I said, tomorrow or next week or a month from now, this could be different. The first 2 fragrances here, not really gonna be too much of a surprise. And honestly, most of the fragrances here probably won't be much of a surprise if you watch this channel a lot, because these are fragrances I've talked about in the past as fragrances that I really like, which makes sense when you consider everything, right? So this one is from Creed. This is my favorite Creed fragrance. Some people go for Silver Mountain Water as their favorites. Others go Millésime Imperial or Aventus, of course. But this one has always been my favorite since the first time I smelled it. It's this guy right here, Green Irish Tweed. Yeah, I just absolutely love the way GIT smells. I think it's fantastic. This one gonna be better suited to spring and summer. To me, you can wear it casually or formally. Great office fragrance as well. Leans a little bit more as a daytime fragrance than it does a nighttime fragrance. This one's got lemon verbena as one of the main notes, along with violet leaves, iris, sandalwood, and ambergris. This one gets compared to Davidoff Cool Water. There is a similarity between this one and Cool Water. There's also a similarity to Aspen by Coty, which is very affordable fragrance, cheap fragrance. You know, cheap doesn't sound quite as nice as affordable, but yeah, Aspen by Coty is cheap. It's sold at Walmarts all across America, as is Cool Water, but never mind all that. Green Irish Tweed has that similar DNA to those 2 fragrances, but just so much higher quality. The quality here in GIT is just light years away from Cool Water and Aspen. in my opinion. And I do have to bring this up because I've gotten so many comments over the years that I'm now kind of trained to say this, but Green Irish Tweed did come first before Cool Water. Some people will say that Cool Water came first and Green Irish Tweed was copying Cool Water, but actually other way around. This is expensive, being a Creed. If you buy it from discounters, you can pick it up in the, I believe, was it $150 range, give or take 20 bucks. And this one is supposed to smell like a walk through an Irish countryside. That's the way that it's pitched. That's kind of the way that they want you to think of this fragrance, and that's a decent way to describe it. It has this very green nature to it, which again, the name Green Irish Tweed, it makes sense, right? Slightly watery at times from the lemon verbena, but not really aquatic, just like this freshness to the fragrance. It's a fantastic scent and easily one that I would keep. That one I would definitely keep if I could only pick 10. Some of these, you know, they could fall out, but not that one. Next up, another Creed. We're just gonna go back to back with the Creeds. This one, Aventus, or if you want to be a little pompous, maybe you could say Aventus. Shout out to Manny at Cascade Scents. But yeah, Creed Aventus is one of the fragrances that I would keep. I did not wear this one for an entire year last year because part of my fragrance resolutions for the year was to not wear Aventus because I wore a lot of it. Over the years, I've worn this a ton. I mean, I've got this bottle, I've got like 3 more up there. I go through Aventus, a good amount of it. Pineapple, of course, one of the main notes, along with birch, musk, vanilla, oak moss, and apple. Don't remember if I said blackcurrant or not, but blackcurrant's in there as well. So this one is gonna give you that fruity freshness off the top with the pineapple, the apple, the bergamot, the blackcurrant. That blackcurrant gives you a bit of tartness as well as it dries down. You've got some smoke from the birch, a good amount of woods in there, and then sweetness from the vanilla and a little bit of that fuzzy musk as it dries down. Aventus is just extremely popular, versatile, people-pleasing. You can wear it day, night, casual, formal, office, date, whatever, doesn't matter. Aventus can do it. Now, the thing with Aventus is batch variations. I'm not gonna go into too much detail here because that would take up the entire video, but some batches of Aventus are heavier on smoke, heavier on birch. Other batches are heavier on bergamot, heavier on pineapple, heavier on fruits. So depending on what variation or batch that you get of Aventus, you could have one that's more fruity, you could have one that's more smoky, or you could get a balanced one that's got a good amount of each. Everybody knows about Creed Aventus, and it is a fragrance that I love. I know some people say that it's overrated, that it's not all it's cracked up to be, that they would rather wear Club de Nuit Intense Man by Armaf or a similar clone fragrance, L'Aventure by Al Haramain, Pineapple Vintage by Parfums Vintage, whatever. There are probably hundreds of Aventus clones at this point, but for me, the real deal. That's what I would keep, Creed Aventus. Next up is a fragrance that most of you probably will not agree with being on this list, but that's fine because this is my list, and you can have your list, and I'll have mine. This one is a Paco Rabanne fragrance. It's one that I've talked about on this channel numerous times as a fragrance that I love, and I understand it's not always the most popular opinion with this fragrance, because if you look on Fragrantica, there's a lot of people that don't like this one all that much, but I love it, so it makes the list. It's Pure XS, not Pure XS Night, just Pure XS. Vanilla, licorice, sugar, myrrh, ginger, and cinnamon, some of the notes in this fragrance, and it has like a cola kind of vibe, an effervescent, sparkling, sugary, sweet, but at the same time, dark cola vibe when you spray this one on. This one, for me, a great fall time fragrance. That's when I really like wearing this one. You can pull it off in winter as well, but for me, fall time is the best time. It's daytime or nighttime wear. For me, it is more of a date night or casual wear kind of fragrance, not one that I really think of as a formal fragrance, because the sweetness here, the way it comes across, is a little more youthful and not quite as sophisticated as you might want in a formal situation. Pure XS Night seems to be a little bit more popular on Fragrantica, but for me, Pure XS is the better fragrance between the two. A little more unique to me than Pure XS Night, and I don't think or can't think of anything off the top of my head that really smells like Pure XS does. So that one makes my list. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure of mine, a guilty love. Next up is a Prada fragrance. This one I fell in love with the first time I smelled it, and I still love it today. Luna Rossa Black. Tonka, amber, angelica, patchouli, some of the notes in this fragrance. To me, it comes across a little bit like a mix of Van Cleef & Arpels Midnight in Paris, Bulgari Black, and Luna Rossa Sport by Prada. So if you took those three fragrances, mixed them together, you might come out with something like this. The fragrance is powdery. It's got a little bit of sweetness in there. It's got interesting facets from the angelica, which is not a note that you see all that often. Gives a little herbal feel in there. Ultimately, the tonka and the amber, though, are what you're going to remember the most from that one. The tonka and the amber mixing together, giving you this nice, powdery, sexy sweetness. That one is a big compliment puller, and that is more of a fall and winter nighttime kind of fragrance for me personally, though I do wear it during the day as well. And that one, more so than Pure XS, I think that you could wear formally if you wanted to. Next up, another fragrance that I imagine a lot of you out there may not agree with, but this one is a love of mine. It has been for years, actually, since it very first came out. I bought this at full retail the year that it was released because I loved it so much, and it's from Versace. It's this one, Oud Noir. This one you can actually pick up for pretty good price nowadays. I actually paid much more when I bought it as compared to what it goes for on discounters now. It's got oud, saffron, black pepper, and cardamom as some of the notes. This one gets compared to Tom Ford's Oud Wood. So people will say that Oud Noir is a great, cheap alternative to Tom Ford Oud Wood, that it smells really similar. And I've actually said that in the past on this channel, so I'm guilty of saying that as well. Now, in the opening, Oud Noir does share quite a similarity to Oud Wood. Not the exact same, but if you spray these side by side and smell them, you'll be like, okay, yeah, I definitely see where people are coming from. As they dry down though, they do go different ways. So in the dry down, Oud Noir, not the same as Tom Ford Oud Wood. That being said, Oud Noir is a great fragrance on its own, and for the price, I think is one of the best designer oud fragrances out there. That one makes the list because, like I said, I fell in love with it right when it was released. I actually ordered carded samples off eBay when it was released, you know, the little 1.2 milliliter spray bottles, and I ran through like 10 of those. I was wearing it every day, it felt like. Just loved it. Ordered that bottle and was just blown away, I guess. I've always liked Versace. When I was younger, Versace was like this really cool brand. Like if somebody said Versace, it's like, oh, that must be expensive. And so as I got older, I think that that name carried clout for me, and that's carried over into my adult life as well. So Versace fragrances, for that reason, also kind of hold a special place in my heart. But this one, good fall and winter time fragrance, daytime, nighttime, either one. I've worn that to the office a bunch. You can wear that on dates as well. It's a very approachable oud. It's not stanky. It's sweet. It's got good spice in there that people are really drawn to. So that one is just very versatile, easy to wear, and gives me a switch up from some of these other ones in this list. Next up is a Bond number 9. It's my favorite Bond number 9 fragrance. Now I'll tell you guys, Bond number 9 has a lot of fragrances that suck. A whole lot of fragrances that suck, especially for the price. But this one's my favorite. I think that it's really nice. It is similar to another fragrance, which I'll talk about in a moment, but wonderful springtime fragrance. You probably know what it is. It's Bleecker Street. I've talked about this one a bunch in the past on the channel, and this one does have similarities to Ralph Lauren Purple Label. So this one definitely is inspired by Purple Label by Ralph Lauren, but I think that this one, between those two fragrances, is the better fragrance. If I could have only one, I'd rather have Bleecker Street. It's got violet leaf, blueberry, oak moss, and suede. The violet leaf and the blueberry is probably what this is most well known for, but as it dries down, that blueberry does fade to the background a bit, and that's where you're gonna get the oak moss and the suede coming out. It's got a nice change to fruity sweetness because blueberry you just don't smell very often in fragrances, especially fragrances that can be worn by men, and Bleecker Street does it very well. Now, it is a Bond No. 9, so it does have a bit of a synthetic feel to it. If you don't like fragrances that have that synthetic sort of edge, maybe Bleecker Street wouldn't be for you. But if I were going to rate out like the top 5 Bond No. 9 fragrances, for me personally, Bleecker Street would be number 1. It's a fragrance like many of the ones in this list I fell in love with first time I smelled it and still love it today. Next up, a fragrance that I bought at retail in Montreal at a store called Etiquette up there. It's a niche and independent perfumery store. It's by Nishane and it is Sultan Vetiver. This is one of the best Vetiver fragrances that I have smelled in terms of just nice quality, lasting power, and just sheer versatility. There are 4 different types of vetiver in this fragrance. So there's Haitian vetiver, Javanese vetiver, bourbon vetiver, and then just vetiver. So that 4th one, you know, it's lacking something. It's lacking a descriptor there, but hey, they list 4 types of vetiver in this fragrance as well. There's bergamot, there's tonka, there's neroli in here, there's leather. There's a lot going on in terms of the note breakdown. This one is very, very appealing. It's got freshness in there, but it's also got depth, it's got richness, it's got a little bit of smokiness in there, it's got some drier, grassier vibes from some of the vetiver that's in here. It does a lot of different things. It switches up on your skin as it dries down. And I've done a full review on that one as well. That one, nearly year-round for me. I think best seasons, probably spring and fall. Daytime, nighttime, casual, formal, it can do all of those very well. That is a fantastic vetiver scent. If you love vetiver, check that one out if you get the opportunity. Next up is fragrance from Tower. This one is an absolute masterpiece. I know that this has to be in the 10 because this fragrance I have sold in the past. I owned this previously and then sold it, and then I bought it again. So I've already done the replacing of this once. I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to do it again, and that's why it would make this 10. And it's this one right here, LDDM, L'air du Desert Marocain. And again, apologies for that pronunciation. I know that it's atrocious. You'll have to forgive me. But this one, absolute masterpiece. It is so flipping good. I would legitimately, if this were a room spray, I would just go around and spray the room just so I could smell it. It is 10 out of 10. This is fan-freaking-tastic. Now I know that some people will say it's not overly wearable. I think that it is personally wearable, but it's not as easily wearable as something like Bleu de Chanel, of course. This one, spicy. It's supposed to smell like the wind blowing off the Moroccan desert through the spice market. And it's got amber, coriander, it's got cedar, vetiver, a bunch of spices, as I said before. This one is just an amazing fragrance. There's not a whole lot more that I can say past that. Tower, LDDM, that one easily makes this list. This next one is one that's just super easy to wear. This is my like versatile, dumb reach, compliment getting kind of fragrance that you can wear in any situation. That's why I made the list. It's Y Eau de Parfum by Yves Saint Laurent. It has apple, ginger, sage, and amberwood as some of the notes in the fragrance. And yeah, to me, this is one of the fragrances that really kicked off amberwood as the replacement to ambroxan, or, you know, the more popular version of ambroxan, because we're seeing amberwood all over the place now. That note is basically the new ambroxan. You find it in blue fragrances across the board. Y Eau de Parfum, I reviewed in the past. It's one that people that are hardcore into niche, hardcore into indie fragrances are not gonna like, because that one is just trying to be as mass appealing as possible. You want compliments, you want versatility, you want performance, something that you can wear anywhere, anytime, any season. That's it. Y Eau de Parfum. I think personally that it's very appealing. I understand that it's not necessarily an artistic masterwork. That's not what it's trying to be. It's trying to be utilitarian, something that you can use any situation. As I said, people are gonna love it, and they do. And that's why it makes this list. Why Eau de Parfum, just a great dumb reach. And last up is one of my favorite Christian Dior's. This one I think is just so nice. This one is one that I love to smell just for myself, and it's Dior Homme Intense. Now this one has been fiddled around a little bit with the new Dior Homme Intense 2020, which I've done a first impression on. It's got the different bottle style and everything. Dior Homme Intense, this is the 2011 release. This one is the one that makes the list, not the new Dior Homme Intense 2020, though there's not an enormous difference between this one and 2020. There is a bit of a difference, so this is the one that makes the list. Iris, Ambrette, Lavender, and Pear, some of the notes in this scent. This is just an extremely sexy, sophisticated, formal, night out kind of fragrance. Great performance, lasts all night. Great projection, you don't have to go heavy on the sprayer with that one. And it's just gonna have you smelling like $1 million. That is just a home run fragrance. Now, I don't know that really casual people would like it as much because of the iris, the way it comes across lipsticky, makeup-y. Some people might find that a little bit too feminine, but for me, I think it's perfect the way that it is. It's just super nice. There's not a whole bunch left for me to say about that one, just if you know, you know. And Dior Homme Intense is the last one. There it is. 10 fragrances that I would keep if I could keep only 10 for life. Now, as I said, this could change and will change. There are some discontinued fragrances that I would have put in this list, but I tried to leave out fragrances that are just impossible to find unless you want to pay hugely jacked up prices on eBay. So that's why Gucci Envy, for example, is not here. If I were including discontinued fragrances, it would have made the list, but since I decided not to do that, that's why it's not here. Again, shout out to Cremo for sponsoring the video. Their information again, down below. As always, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all your support, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.